Hi. So I've been receiving a lot of downloads around this recently, and it's something that kind of circled back around in my life. And I felt really inclined to share it with the women that were at my last retreat. And it was super powerful, and it always is. And then I got inclined to share it in a couple other environments recently, and I'm always surprised at how many people haven't seen it. And I think it's just a really interesting and cool way to remind you of how powerful that you are. And so this is a bobby pin, and so when you put the bobby pin on your third eye, it will stay there. Stay there because we're magnetic. And yeah, everyone's positioning is a little bit different, but once you find that spot on your face, it's just like, whoa. And there's all this energy flowing through our body all the time, and it can be used and come out of there. Most people associate the third eye with intuition, but it's also how we create and magnify through visualization. And one of the things to realize about visualization is I always talk about that focus, like focusing a camera lens in. And it's like the more clear and that we're able to get that vision is when it can manifest, it can come into reality. The thing is that a lot of times what we are visualizing is coming from a frequency based on old programs, old paradigms, old ways of thinking, old ways of being, and those ways are created by past experiences, by other people's experiences, by people that taught us certain things, half of the things that we are manifesting by default is not even ours. It's not even what our true self knows and believes in. And that's when neuroplasticity, that interesting, cool part of our brain that is able to kind of rewire things and re-imprint new information. And then we can be able to visualize from that once we have removed some of that old stuff. And so there's so many different ways that you can work with the neuroplasticity in your brain by doing breath work and pumping all that oxygen in, which allows your brain to open up for new information. Then there's meditation, and then even just the practice of visualization is so powerful because it really helps you to practice getting your focus in. And the more that you practice getting your focus in, the clearer that you can be on what it is that you want. And of course, there's so many other ways: affirmations, repetition, movement, dance. There are just so many different practices where you can embody new frequencies somatically. The thing is that a lot of times this old coding and programming and these things that happen to us that sometimes we suppress, and then they get stuck in our subconscious and they're there, but we don't know they're there. Like, I always compare this to like when you go to clean out your closet and you discover that you have this stuff that you don't even need in there anymore, and then but you didn't know that it was even there, but it was just taking up all this space, right? So your subconscious mind is like that. There's so many things that we don't remember everything, and some things we intentionally forget because they're just too painful. And I know myself, I had a lot of experiences with that, and these things were really I didn't even know they were there, and they were not only affecting the way that I was creating my reality, but they were affecting the way that I interacted with other people, the way that I interacted with myself, my relationship with myself. And it was so powerful when I started microdosing. It's microdosing psilocybin, by the way. I would periodically remember things out of nowhere, and it was like it would just pull it out of the closet, and then I was able to be like, oh man, wow, like that's why I feel like this about these particular situations when they happen, or this is why my perspective is like this on this. And this happened countless times. And I currently still microdose. I'm constantly rediscovering things that even happened that I wasn't even aware of just a few years ago, when I was already on a pretty strong spiritual journey. Since this was coming to my heart and I was being asked to share about this, I wanted to just remind everyone that in addition to all of those processes that I just spoke of, and in addition to the microdosing of psilocybin, obviously as an alternative medicine practitioner, I deeply believe and have seen the effects with my clients, with my friends. I've watched friends transform into completely different people from microdosing, and clients as well. And it's so beautiful. It is so beautiful because it's such a subtle ease into a new way of living and freedom. But with this Connecting with Pachamama retreat that I'm hosting in July, I just wanted to make everyone aware that if you are really struggling with different parts of your life, and it's just like you just keep finding yourself in the same cycle and the same cycle and the same cycle, it's because there's a block, and it's because you don't know what that block is. And it takes a long time and a lot of money to go to therapy and to work through that in our sessions, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever it is, however it is that you're approaching that. But nature itself is so healing, and it is so effective. I could go on about case study after case study after case study of just what an hour, just what 2 hours, just there's so much information and results from biofeedback and just from the effects of nature itself. And then when you add being in a group of very, very intentional people, all there on the same frequency, because we know that we get attracted, right? We're attracted and brought together on a frequency. And so that you're there with people that have that same intention as you, or a similar intention as you. And so there's a collective energy. And then you have medicine women and shamans, and then you have support, and you have safe and sacred space to be able to process through. And on top of that, you're being fully immersed in nature all day long, every single day. And the plants and the energy of your guides and angels through all of these ceremonies and these journeys, you don't even really need to consume the plants. Actually, traditionally, only the shamans did that, and it was really just the space that they were holding, and they were the channel for the healing. Now, in the more modern society, people are really receiving and being more receptive to the medicinal properties in the plants, and so people are choosing now to consume them. And so either way, you're still going to get a tremendous healing in a week's time. Please check out my website at guidedandSage.com, and I would love for you to join us there and experience that healing, because it's not even just there, it's all of the time afterwards, and things just start coming back up. And once you're aware that they're there, you're able to then release them. And then you're able to, through affirmations and meditation and all of these other tools and processes, you're able to imprint that new information. So then when you are focusing in your new reality, you can focus it in super, super concise, clear. And the clearer that we're able to get on the vision for where we want to go in our life, the faster that it happens. And that's what's really interesting and cool about it. But the thing is that when we have that kind of like wonky, like fuzzy vision, because we've got all this other stuff that we don't even know is there, that's affecting what the possibilities that we even think. We're not even able sometimes. I know there was a point for me, I was barely even able to visualize. It was so hard for me because I was so distracted by what was going on in my actual reality that it was hard for me to really see any other way. And it wasn't until I, got really committed to my spiritual practices and really did that work. And with that work, I was able to consume the plants and I was able to participate and then eventually be leading some ceremonies. I do also offer ceremonies for healing in Joshua Tree, California. So if you ever want to do something private between family members or friends or people group, small group, that there's shared realities and experiences, those are super, super beneficial. So please check those out. But also, if none of this is calling to you right now, any of these events or retreats, just remember the different practices. I'm also going to be putting out a magnetic meditation here soon, so be looking out for that. I'll be posting that on YouTube. And yeah, I hope that you guys really enjoyed the bobby pin. It is such a great reminder of the energy that's flowing through us and our ability to channel that, as long as we can get clear about what we want. And as long as we get all that nasty garbage out of the way, we'll be able to create from a different and a better frequency where the possibilities are endless. And so it is.